spoons. Okay. Back to the handle. Now, tweezers. Two basic forms of tweezers. We have one kind where you have a flat, it's folded in half, it's flattened, it's got a hole drilled through it, and then you've got your pieces here. And there's actually more than just two types. I usually just make just two types. So this is one of the easiest ones to make because it's right there. No brain surgery necessary in order to figure that one out. So bend it in half. And this is why it's nice to have the shear, because those two ends are the same width. And if I cut them by hand, they would not be exactly the same width, and I'd have to file them. Let's see, I do not have any of my non-marring pliers over here, so I need to be careful. When you look at regular pliers, like these are cheapies from Harbor Freight, they have grooves on the inside of them. If I were to use that sort of a pair of pliers on this, it would mark the bejesus out of it to the point where I could never polish it out without taking off half the metal. Let me see here. I think I have a plier over here. Mystically, magically disappearing. Part of my problem right now is that half my stuff is packed. And unfortunately, a lot of my stuff that I need is actually packed up in the house. So, let's see what I have that I can make work. You don't want to mar this because that doesn't make any sense. And I don't think I have any pairs of pliers over here that are not messy. Yeah. Somebody's like, oh, I know what that is. I was like, who's in there? Yeah. Okay. Okay, I gotta go up to the house. Ta-da! I found them. They just got shuffled. But that was quite the process. I could not imagine where they went to because I knew where they usually kept. I was like, where are they? One of the problems with not doing something for a while is you sometimes forget where you put them. Anyway, so I'm holding the ends together to try and get them as even as possible. What I'm doing is I'm just ooching this forward a little bit in an attempt to even that out completely because it doesn't want to. Anybody who's ever worked with something like this that's a little springy knows what I mean when I say it doesn't want to. Okay. Now, because I'm filming this, it's not going to work right because, you know, that's also part of the rules. You could do it 300 times and it'll come out perfect 300 times, and then you go to film it and it comes out wrong the next time. Okay, so that's not even. And I don't want it that cockeyed. So, there. Now it's even. Now, once I have it even, which I do now, I'm going to squish it hard, and I'm going to hang on to it with a pair of these pliers. Now, these pliers have cushy stuff on the inside. These, I believe, are nylon. Some others are made out of something else. Now, I'm hanging on to that so the ends are not going to move. And I'm going to tap it down until I get a crisp line there. See how narrow that is now? Now, when it's time to turn that completely into a pair of tweezers, we'll probably smack it a little harder, like this. Then this could be drilled right there. Now I can flip it around the other direction. And I'm going to bend them. And there's no such thing as a right ring or a way or a wrong way to make these, because we weren't there when they were making them, so we really don't know how they made them. We just know what the final result was. So I know that my tweezers work, that people are always amazed that they work, and I always say something silly like, why would I make a pair of tweezers that don't work? Okay, so now I've created a letter Y. And now I'm going to take the part of my pliers that are smooth. See, this end is rough, this end is smooth. I'm going to grab it in the smoothest section, so I don't want it chewed up. And I'm going to bend it. Now I've got a letter Y with two squiggles there. And that is a pair of tweezers. Just like that. Now, in order to finish that, all I need to do is take a file and actually sharpen the ends here. Because if you look at a good pair of tweezers, there's actually a bevel at the end of the tweezers that comes to an edge kind of a thing, and that edge is what you use for grabbing that errant hair or whatever, or that splinter. And you need a little bit of a bevel there to work correctly. Otherwise you have a square end and it's kind of awkward. And you'll see that's one of the few times that I'm actually not going both directions, because I'm placing it carefully each time, because I want a specific bevel. If I was just removing a burr, I'd probably saw back and forth, but I'm not. I'm actually creating a specific bevel. And that needs just a little bit more. Okay. And we have tweezers. Important. Great for taking out a splinter, for removing an errant hair anywhere. Yeah, a useful thing. And I'm going to do that, a whole stack of times. And then I will move on to, let's see, this is bronze. Yep. I used to do these in brass, but when the bronze became available, I started switching over to bronze because bronze is more authentic. So, in this case, I will make toothpicks. Toothpicks are easy. Toothpicks are simply a stick that is hammered to make it straight. Now another way you can make it straight is to do this. This is a really heavy piece of wire, so it won't work as well as it would on a thinner piece of wire, but you see how straight that is? Very straight. Easy way. And no hammer marks. Then I will take one end, I'm doing as I'm cleaning off burrs here, because that was cut with a pair of dikes. Actually there was sprue cutters. It tends to leave a sort of a ragged edge. Okay, I'll drill a hole through there, and I'll sharpen the other end, and that becomes a toothpick. Then the only other thing I have to make is the spoons. Spoons are made using a dapping block. And my dapping block is in my toolbox. This is my traveling dapping block. I have some fancier ones that I have here that have much bigger holes and things. But this is all I normally need when I travel. So you have a steel block that has lots of little sizes of holes in it, and these balls fit into those holes, and they allow you to take a piece of metal and smush it and create a shape. Then it's just a matter of deciding which ones. This is the one obviously most commonly used. It has a piece of tape on it. You can tell. No reason to sit there and fiddle around every time you need to do something. So cheat a little. And, and have the stuff pre-marked. Okay. Piece of metal. Put it in place. Hold it in place like that. Remember, we don't strike a it startled me. I dropped everything. Okay, we don't strike a steel stamp. I have an alarm going off. I need to go fiddle with the pizza, but I'm going to show you this first. I'm going to hold that in place. I'm going to whack this. You'll notice it bent it up, that's fine. But it also created a little sort of a partial spoon thing there. Okay. And then I shape it. I could shape it with a pair of cutters to take off the little corners on the end. That's a quick way to round it out a little. I could do it completely with a file. I could use the wet wheel if I'm in an event and I don't have fancy schmancy stuff with me, I would have my good file, which is over here. You do get favorite files after a while. This is one of my favorites. Brace myself. Okay. I like to make sure that these are not sharp because people actually do use them. Ear spoons are actually a normal piece of hygiene still to this day in some parts of the world, most notably East Asia. My understanding, if you go to, you know, like in the US, if you go to a better quality hotel, they'll have some bits and pieces of stuff for you, like Q-tips and such. Well, there they would have disposable plastic ear spoons, because it is considered to be a hygienic way to remove wax from your ears. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to narrow it down just a little bit right before the bowl of the spoon, just for prettiness reasons. And I can make it as fancy or as complicated or as whatever else I want. I can file off the corners here, which I usually do. Just soften them. I'm not really rounding them out so much as I'm softening the corners so that they're not a sharp point kind of thing. And drill a hole in that, and it's ready to go. And I'm going to be doing that about 12 times. Because I want to go with about that many. I may not actually completely put them together. This one's put together all the way and ready to go. It's been polished. It's got a twisted wire ring on it. Sometimes I hang these on chains. Sometimes I sell them plain. I usually try and have a combination because obviously if they're on a chain they're more expensive. So I try and have a decent price range for people to choose from. But that's what I'm doing. Yeah, keeps you off the street. I also bumped into a whole bunch more of these thimble rings, and these happen to have flashing on the inside, which means I have to take a file and file the inside, which is like that. A little on the annoying side, but it works. Because you want these things to be comfy, and what I always do is I try and actually run my fingers over them as if I were going to use them to make sure, like I can tell there's a sharp spot right there that will have to come off. So the advantage of pewter is it comes off really easily. But I have a bunch of those too. Now this is something I can do at an event, so I will leave that as a project for later. I just need to make sure I take my files with me. So now you know another crazy thing that I do down in my shop. So I am going to say, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because obviously there's a ton more going on around here. I still have a bunch of gardening things to do. Storm came in a little earlier than it was expected today, and I didn't get outside to get some stuff done, so I may do it later if it goes away. I need to still plant some more things, and I did water the greenhouse today. It's looking great, by the way. There's only like 2 tomatoes that are not looking great. Everybody else is happy. The cucumbers are growing like crazy already. I need to fertilize everybody. I'm making some itty-bitty, teeny-tiny penannular brooches. I have to admit, I hate making these. If ever there's going to be something you're going to whack your fingers with, it's these guys, because they're so teeny. But I'm making a couple of them anyway because somebody wants them. So, yeah, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell because obviously lots going on. So until next time, bye. And don't forget, keep on brainstorming because obviously we are. Ooh.